Hey guys, what's up? It's Gina Polnev, aka Lil Ruski. Thank you so much for clicking on this channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. On this channel, I post flexibility / stretching content every Tuesday, and then on Fridays, I post whatever I want. However, today, it's obviously Tuesday, but I've just been really busy this week with rehearsals. I had a little dance show on Friday, so I've been doing that, and I actually wanted to film a flexibility routine yesterday. I literally had my whole setup with me. I was ready to go. I was at Burton Chase Park. It was just so windy and the lighting was so foul. I just didn't want to do that to you guys, and I didn't want to hate the footage. Also, I'm not even like famous enough yet for it to matter what kind of content I post on Tuesdays, because you're not really expecting anything, because I only have like 250 subscribers, who I all love, obviously. Or no, more. I have like 550. I don't even know. I'm just rambling. Long story short, I decided to do a sit-down video. I haven't done a sit-down video in so long. Make sure to give this video a like if you like these story times and you want me to continue making story time videos, because they're super fun and easy to make. Also, subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my face and you want to see more of me, Lil Ruski. So if you don't already know, I work at a restaurant. I'm not gonna say the name because I don't want you guys to start stalking me. Like, I know you love me so much, but please, please. I like my privacy. I honestly love my job because I meet so many new people and I make literally so many friends along the way with customers and my coworkers in general. Sometimes I definitely do get a rougher crowd who can be quite aggressive, can make your day go from really great to really sour. I was so distraught and upset, so I have to share it with the internet. Anyways, so I took a bunch of notes on my phone so that I wouldn't forget. I don't know if you guys ever do this, but I literally text myself things so I don't forget. Anytime I'm doing something and I think of something, I have to write it down or else I will forget it. So I always just text myself. So we're already starting off strong with this terrible day. It's funny too, because my friend Alex, she usually doesn't work at this restaurant. However, we were short a staff member, so she hopped on, and so it was her first day back in a long time. And so we were literally saying like, oh, we're gonna have a great shift today. Already though, right off the bat, when we get there, the energy is like super off. All the servers are stressed out, the expo's stressed out, my managers are stressed out, like everyone's running around, scrambling. It's already like a rough one. So we're in the locker room and we're like, yes, we're gonna have a great day. Positive vibes only. I think I was closing that day, so I was the 5:30. Right off the bat, like everything's fine. I'm doing good, getting my tables. I was in the first section. Each server is given a section to work in. Our restaurant is really long, so it's section 1, 2, 3, 4. I was in the first section, so basically the hosts would normally seat section 1 the most because it's super easy and it's just like bam, 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 you know, it's like right there. It wasn't even that busy, but I get a table. They're okay, like it was a family of 5. The mom and dad were very average, like not overly nice, not rude, just like your generic people. The daughter had a very stink eye moment and just, you know how kids are. I don't really like kids, to be honest. I never grew up around kids, so I've never connected with them, but she was just being really snappy and she didn't want to eat, and so she was just giving attitude and it was awkward. At my restaurant, you can put a gratuity on a table if it's a party of 6 or more. I knew this, and honestly, like, I'm completely taking blame here. I tried to get my manager to grat them, which was like a 5 top instead of a 6 top. I think you should put a gratuity on 5 or more because you're already catering to like 5 people compared to like 2, 3, or 4. So it's definitely a lot more work. There are times when people will literally stiff you or would complain about the bill. That goes out of your pocket at the end of the day, because as a server, we have to tip the bartender, the expo, which is the food runner. We have to tip the host, and we have to tip the busser. 25% of our tips goes, I believe it's 25%, give or take, percent of our tips go to those people. If we get a customer that doesn't tip us, that goes out of our pocket. So as servers, our goal is obviously to basically get a table of 6 or more, because the gratuity is automatically 18%, so they're required to tip you 18%. Your grats are where you make the most money. I am definitely guilty of doing this, and I know a couple of my coworkers are definitely guilty of doing this, and so we sometimes try to cheat and put a grat on 5 people, and so I did that. Anyways, long story short, my manager caught me. I lied to him, and he was like, Gina, why did I put a grat on a 5 top? And I was like, oh, I guess they're in the bathroom or something, and he obviously checked the cameras, and I lied, and so I got in trouble, and he took the gratuity off. So like right off the bat, that was like one of my first tables, and I like effed up. I messed up. I'm completely taking blame. Like I really shouldn't have done that, but I did, and now I know my lesson 100%. I will literally never do that again. So my manager got upset with me, and so it was time for them to pay. By the end, like they were sending things back. They were having attitude. One of the daughters' food came a couple minutes later, so she was like crying. They were fine, and then they were getting really annoying to serve for. It's time to pay, and they give me $100. I don't even remember how much their bill was, but they give me a $100 bill. I made such a stupid mistake. When you work on your register, you can either press, if like they don't need change, you can press cash, and so it automatically just assumes that they paid exactly amounts. Like let's say their bill was $60, I press cash, it just says 60, right? So like 60 and then 0. They owed you 60, they gave you 60, so you don't owe them anything. Or you can press like how much they gave you. So like let's say they gave me a $100 bill, I would have pressed 100, and then it would have said the change was 40 bucks. Anyways, so my dumbass, their bill was like $80, and instead of pressing 100, which is what I should have done because they give me a $100 bill, I pressed cash without thinking. For some reason, my brain, like I was just doing a million things. I gave them $80 in change instead of 20. And I literally like recounted the money. Like I've never done anything like that in my entire life. Like I'm super careful with money. Like I don't make mistakes like that. So I recounted the money like 2 or 3 times. I'm like, this is weird, but whatever. I just wanted them out of my hair anyways. So I give them the change and I leave. Mid me like helping customers and getting drinks, I realized I fucked up and I gave them $80 in change instead of 20. By the time I realized that, I ran over and they were bitch, they were gone in a heartbeat. They knew I messed up, and they literally tipped me like $5, even though their bill was already like $80. So they should have at least, I mean, I don't know. It was like they tipped me under 10%. I'm a great waitress slash server. Some people don't like being called servers because it's like servant. I mean like servers, waitress, I don't really care. It's the same thing to me, but I'm a great waitress. I make sure you have a great experience, you know, and I really tried for these people. Obviously they took the money. A lot of people would have. I mean, I feel like I wouldn't have because that's like really fucked up. Like that's a lot of money. So I'm like, damn, like I'm gonna have to pay $80 out of my pocket. So hopefully I make enough money so that at least I walk away with $50. Yeah, right. I'm already really upset. I made a huge mistake. I lost $80. I'm already like negative $80 in, and I just started my shift. Things end up progressing, whatever, and then I get this table of 3 people. It was 2 girls and a guy, and just kind of annoying. Also sending things back, being kind of snappy, a little demanding, but whatever. I understand when people want things a certain way or when people are snappy, so I don't really take it to heart, and I didn't really think it was a big deal anyways. It was time to come pay, and for whatever reason, they all wanted to pay at separate times. So like not me splitting their bill into 3 separate tabs and them paying, but they literally wanted me to take one of their cards, pay it out, come back, take the other person's card, pay it out, come back, and then take like the guy's cash. It was just like weird. When I went to go take the girl's card the second time, the guy was gonna initially give me $100. And I was like, oh, I don't really have change, so it's gonna take a couple minutes for me to get that for you. And he was like, oh, really? Okay, I'll just wait. And I was like, okay, whatever. I mean, like, I'm gonna come back anyways, and you're probably gonna give me the $100, so it doesn't really matter. So whatever. I pay out the second girl, and then I come back, and I'm like, all right, like, are you ready to pay? And the guy's looking around, he's like, what do you mean? I gave you the $100, even though he didn't give it to me. And so I look at him and I'm like, sir, you definitely didn't give it to me. We literally just had this discussion 5 minutes ago. You wanted to pay with 100, but I told you it was gonna take a couple minutes for me to give you change, so you just pulled back. And he... What the frick? Does that not sound like a crying animal? I don't even know if that's a cat or a dog. Sorry, I like completely lost my train of thought because of that puppy or kitty or whatever animal that is. But anyways, long story short, we're bickering back and forth for like 3 to 5 minutes at this point. He's trying to convince me that I gave him the $100. I'm telling him that I never gave him the $100. And I'm telling him, like, let's go check the cameras right now. Like, we can literally check the cameras. We can literally check the cameras. And literally the two girls at this table were being silent. Finally, after like 3 minutes of us arguing, he turns to them and he was like, did I give her the $100? And then one of them's like, no, you didn't. Like, literally, like, they're just on their phone. She's like, no, you didn't. And he goes, oh, okay. Thank you for your honesty. And then finally, he literally this whole time could have pulled out his wallet, checked that he had the $100. Okay, great. No, he ends up pulling out his wallet and he's like, gets the $100 and he's like laughing at me. I'm like, you literally just wasted 3 minutes of my time. And as a server, when it gets busy, every minute, every like second counts, because you have people complaining, you have people getting frustrated. You need to be on top of it. You need to be thinking like 3 to 5 things at once. You need to be thinking of their drinks, their food, going to them and checking on them and doing this and that. You have a lot of tables and you got a lot of things to think about. And so he was arguing with me the whole time, saying that I gave him $100 even though I never gave it to him. And I told him that we can go check the cameras, and he could have just pulled out his wallet and been like, oh yeah, you're right, here's the $100. Or one of the girls was been like, hey, you never gave her the $100, but instead they just like wasted 3 to 5 minutes of my time. Do you understand? So yeah, it was just super frustrating. So I go get them their change. I don't even remember if they tipped me or not. On top of all this happening, like that whole day, everyone was like borderline either stiffing me or tipping me like 10%. Normally I have a great day at work. I usually make my expectations and usually people tip me like 15 to 20 to over 20%, usually tipping me on top of their gratuity when it comes to that. And it was just such a foul day. The day progressed. I'm already now just even in a worse mood than I already was. And I get this one guy and he's sitting at a high top. He's fine, again, like super average, not rude, not super nice, like just a generic person. All of a sudden he's like pointing and he's like, what the fuck? And I look and there's a massive cockroach on his table, and I'm not gonna pick that shit up. I'm terrified of insects as it is. I don't know how I'm gonna live alone because I literally cry at the sight of a spider or something. One, I don't even want to kill it because I can't like kill something. Two, I don't want to touch it or be around it. And so I literally had to call one of the busters. I was like, Carlos. And he comes by and he grabs it, and I apologized a million times. My manager ends up comping his whole meal. He's like, I'm so sorry, like you don't have to pay anything. Obviously that guy doesn't tip me because there was literally a fat cockroach on his table. And apparently, I don't know how this happened, but this doesn't even really happen at my restaurant. So like, don't be like, ew, like she works somewhere filthy. Like, it's not like that. We literally work on the beach, so it's understandable. Earlier that day at one of my coworkers' tables, there was a cockroach like grilled onto the nachos. These people were literally eating the nachos and there was a cockroach like grilled into it. Ugh, like, oh my god, so absolutely disgusting. Yeah, it's just so foul. So after that guy, he left, I had another table and it was another 5 top, so I couldn't grab them. These people were so annoying. I think these were probably like my worst customers that day. They were just being super snappy, super disrespectful. While I was with other customers, were literally interrupting me, being like, hey, excuse me, and I would turn and be like, you need to wait, like I'm literally speaking to someone right now. Like, just being so rude. One of the expos ran all their food, and so all their food was there, and I was helping another customer, and I guess the son's pizza didn't get there yet. It was literally like 2 minutes or something, and the son's pizza wasn't there yet, and the woman is literally like, excuse me, while I'm talking to a customer, his pizza isn't here. And like this, obviously, like we're all products of our parents, so this kid was literally throwing a fit, like crying that his pizza wasn't there. You literally see I'm talking to someone right now, like you gotta give it a sec. Anyways, they're crying and just being super disrespectful and annoying and very Karen-y. and like his food finally comes. By the end, I was just so over it. If you're gonna give me negative energy, I'm not gonna give you negative energy back, but I'm not gonna be super nice giving you an amazing experience. You're just gonna get a very mediocre experience from me. I give you a very mediocre experience and I expect you to tip me 10% because I think that's what 10% deserves. I know that as a server, I give a 20% plus experience, but for these people, fuck that. You're not gonna get my smile or my thank you or my please, or you're not gonna get me asking you a million things and doing things for you. No. You don't deserve that. So why would I take the extra step when I know for a fact that you're not gonna take the extra step for me? It's time for them to pay, and these motherfuckers, not only did they stiff me, but they had the audacity to tip me a penny. They literally just put a single penny on their receipt. I didn't even say thank you or bye when they left. I just like let them go. I was so shook. There are so many times when people stiff me. I mean, not so many because it doesn't happen often, but there are times when customers would stiff me and I want to so bad just go up to them and be like, oh, was the service not good? And just really embarrass them, but I'm not gonna do that because that's super petty. So then I had these 3 guys sitting at my section and they were fine, they were cool, like we were making jokes back and forth. One of the guys was taking a long time to drink his beer, so I was just like making a joke about it. Like everything was fine. I get really slammed, so I don't really have time to like keep going over them, checking up on them. It's maybe like 5, 6, 7 minutes and I end up getting this other table and it's again a high top. The guy leaves to go do something and I'm talking to the woman and she orders 2 405s. So they get their drinks and I come back to get their order and the guy comes back and he's like, I want to move. If we already take your order, first of all, because of COVID, like we don't want you moving seats, so we have to like clean it a million times. Secondly, once we already take your order, we don't want to confuse the expo, the food runner, if we don't have enough time to tell them that they move tables, and we don't want to confuse the bartenders, and like it's just like a whole ordeal if you move your table and it like doesn't even fucking matter. He's trying to move and I tell him like, oh, I'm so sorry, sir. Unfortunately, because you guys already ordered, you can't move. And he gets up, he's like, man, you must be new here. I was like, what the fuck? Like, okay, sir. And so he starts asking the servers, who are also really busy, mind you, and they're not even in control of that. You would have to ask the hosts. And even then, the hosts don't want you moving anyways. And one of the hosts says no, but the other host was new and she didn't know, so she said yes. Ugh. And so she ends up moving these people to the rail. Y'all can enjoy your drink, but I am not gonna help you. I'm literally gonna help my other customers. I knew for a fact from the second that they got there, they weren't gonna tip me anyways because of their attitude towards me. As a server, and I know for those of you who work in the service industry, you know this, you can just tell by the way people treat you or by people's energy or by the way that people even look at you or interact with you if they're gonna tip you or not. I knew they weren't gonna tip me, so I wasn't gonna put in my energy anyways. And so I come in, I'm like, okay, like what can I get for you? The guy's like, fuck that, I'm not eating here. Okay, so you just wasted my time, whatever. And then he literally yells at me to the across the room, I want the bill. So I go bring them the bill and I'm helping other customers, and so they have the bill, and then those 3 guys that I was talking to you guys about earlier end up paying out, and the guy doesn't sign the check, so his table doesn't tip me. So I'm like, oh, excuse me, you need to sign this, because he didn't even sign it. So he comes back, gives me like a stank eye, and then obviously like this guy who moved tables was being rude and was like, nah, don't tip her, don't sign that shit, don't sign that shit, literally egging him on. And so this guy like just starts laughing at me, laughing at the situation. And also, mind you, we were doing good. Me and these 3 guys were like picking joke. It was fun, it was all chill. And then all of a sudden they were like making fun of my voice, which I feel like my voice is really low naturally, but then when I'm talking to servers, I'm like, hi guys, how are you? Like my voice gets really high pitched. And so they were literally making fun of that. And I could hear them because they would do it as soon as I would leave the table. I'm not deaf. Obviously I can hear you mimicking me. And so he ends up just signing it without tipping me. So they leave, and then this couple starts leaving. I'm like, are you gonna pay your tab? He's like, no, you didn't come in time. And so they don't even like pay their tab, they just leave. Thankfully in that situation, like my manager took it off. They didn't pay their tab. To conclude this whole story, my very last table was sitting at the rail and I'm helping them, and one of the guys sitting there was my friend's friend. But the guy sitting next to him was this guy who I met half a year ago. I was walking on the boardwalk. He kept trying to make conversation with me, and I was very explicitly not wanting to talk to this guy. First of all, I was dating someone at that time. Secondly, I didn't want to give this person the time of day. Like, I didn't care to have a conversation. It was late, I was tired. He kept pushing to get my number, and I kept saying no. He just got upset and was like, fuck you, and I'm like, okay, like, whatever. Anyways, fast forward, he was at my table with this guy and this other guy. I don't know, either he's a really good actor, he was really well at pretending to not know who I was, or he just genuinely like forgot who I was, or I don't know, maybe was like really drunk. Ew, he was being so stingy. The whole time they were there, like it was these three guys, he kept telling me that they were gonna split the bill because he only wanted to pay for his two things. He didn't have to keep telling me. He didn't tip me and he left early. Like, it was just super weird, and it was just an overall bad day. As a server, I feel like if one bad thing happens and you mentally are really in that mindset of that bad thing happening, everything just slowly starts to snowball and your whole day just gets exponentially worse and worse. That was just my day. I literally had more bad, horrible customers than I had good customers. Usually when I work, I make at least one or two friends and I end up hanging out with these people. I literally treat my customers as if they're my friends. I love working with people. I love people, but it was horrible. The day ended. I had to tip everyone out. Normally, I would walk away with like 150 plus a shift. I literally walked away with $20. I worked for 5 hours and I literally left with $20. I had nothing. I literally had nothing. Mid-shift, I was like kind of explaining to my manager what happened regarding the $80 situation, and he was kind of insinuating that he was gonna help me figure out the bill, that maybe he could void a couple things off and then I'll just have to pay like half of it instead of the full thing. He told me to come to him at the end of the night, and so I did. He was like, I don't know what you want me to do about it. And I was like, but you told me to come to you at the end of the night. I don't know, it doesn't even matter. It was just stupid. I guess it was a misunderstanding between both of us. So yeah, I had to pay the $80 and I walked out with $20. Oh, what a nightmare, guys. I think that was genuinely the worst shift I've ever had. When I used to work at Starbucks, a homeless man literally threw his shit at me, like his actual shit, and I don't even think that was the worst day, because that was like I don't know. It was just a bad day. I would love to hear your guys' stories in the comments down below. Please let me know your worst serving or service industry experience, because I would love to hear those and it would make me feel a lot better about mine. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for clicking on this channel. Please make sure to like this video if you want to see more story times, and subscribe to my channel if you like my face. Anyways, I love you guys. Little Ruski is out. Bye, guys.